Hi, Dave Kinnicky here with the Farm Equipment Editor's Blog for May 28th, 2013. It seems we're barely into the planting season and already we're hearing concerns about next year. I suppose that's because nearly everyone I've talked to, dealers, analysts, manufacturers, and economists, have a pretty warm and fuzzy feeling about 2013. Things are looking good unless something like last year's drought should sneak up on us again, or Congress does something stupid. Both of these are very real possibilities, as we all know. But as you check out the forecasts and trends and ag equipment intelligence news items in this issue of eWatch, you'll notice a very cautious, if not a downbeat tone developing about the farm machinery business for 2014. For example, Titan Machinery issued a preliminary report on its first quarter earnings last week, and it was a tough one to say the least. A cold, wet start to the planting season and the continuing drag of the construction equipment market teamed up to make the dealership group miss its earnings targets for the period and disappoint analysts. I'll let you check those out for yourself, but in compiling a special report for the June issue of Farm Equipment, I had the opportunity and distinct pleasure, actually, of interviewing Professor Mike Bolge of Purdue University's Department of Agricultural Economics and the Center for Food and Agricultural Business. I've read many of Professor Bolge's papers and articles over the years, but this is the first time I've actually had the chance to speak with him. The article that will appear in the June issue is entitled, "Is Agriculture's Current Prosperity Sustainable?" It's one part of a three-part report on ag's boom-bust cycles. In it, the professor expresses some concern about agriculture in 2014 and 2015, while insisting I make sure to let our dealers know that he's very optimistic about ag's long-term future prospects. He said, "What I'm nervous about are the bumps in the road on our way to the long-run future." He goes on to say, "We have evidence of increased volatility, but most of the volatility we've had in the last 5 years has been on the upside. And there's reason to believe there's now some volatility on the downside that we ought to be positioning ourselves for." He goes on to discuss 8 industry drivers and where they're heading and their ultimate impact. Addressing dealers directly, he said, "What I don't want you to be is roadkill on the way to the long-run future." With all of this type of news, some might say we're spreading some negativity around. Others might say, "Thanks, we needed the heads up," whatever. But I will remind you what Mark Twain once said. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Thanks for checking in, and I'll talk to you next time.